Yo, Mark, how you doing? I'm a bit hungover myself, but I've got some good wins, and I know you've got some good wins, so we decided to
Yeah,
do the show anyway.
I am amazed. You're a trooper because you were sending messages like 7 hours ago on
Mm,
a chat app saying you had a bit of insomnia. So
yeah,
happy to see you here and
likewise.
doing doing pretty good. All things good on the progress side at least.
Okay, so
So
what's happened? What's going on for you?
okay, so like revenue is totally flat, and last week and the week before that were bad. So like
But
I'm basically at the same revenue I was at 2 months ago.
okay, yeah,
Views on YouTube are way up, which I guess is so basically the top of the line is really good and the bottom of the line is not good. And that's
mm,
not surprising given that I've done 13 consecutive free videos and I'm just wrapping up a free series. I'm going to do a paid one later.
yeah.
And also, there may be people trying to save money now. So there are lots of possible factors. But the good side, I got a lot done. I got that product launched, the starter kit for people
Yes,
building apps with Phoenix.
excellent.
That's a big deal because that's like a whole second thing to go alongside Alchemist Camp.
Now, when you say you got it launched in what kind of capacity?
So I have enough code up that it is useful for some people. It has user auth built in, OAuth is built in. I've got an auth plug set up so that people can restrict certain routes to, or certain actions to only admin users or only to users that are logged in.
So people have been able to use it.
Yeah. So the way it works right now is people set my repo as well. Actually, the way the initial version is just download a zip file. But what I've gotten set up since we talked last time is now my repo can be set as an upstream, and people just merge my upstream into their app, and they get my new changes and resolve whatever conflicts they need to if
So
they've
how does
diverged quite
this
a bit.
plug in from a payment point of view, from you getting money from it? You're not at that phase yet with this
No,
project.
no. Well, what I did is I sent out an email to people on my list, and I also tweeted a landing page that had a sign up. And I basically said, if you were already an Alchemist Camp member, you're getting this for free for as long as it's an alpha. For anyone else, if you're interested in getting it at a steep discount while it's an alpha, give me your email and I'll let you know. And what I've done is I've given the Alchemist Camp subscribers access to it. So basically, the people who are already my customers are using it now. They are,
Phoenix Igniter, and it
yeah,
is a tool that basically it's like a foundational thing that makes it faster for you to build Phoenix apps.
yeah. It's like Laravel Spark is for
Laravel
Laravel.
Spark, perfect.
It's like that kind of
Very,
thing, a
very
bullet train on
exciting.
Rails.
I
So
really, really like it. Yeah.
it's uh, it's being used by paying Alchemist Camp members right now, and I've gotten great emails from it, which is awesome because it's so early in the stages.
Yeah.
And I'm about to open it to the other people who have signed up asking to be notified when I'm selling it, which is a list of about 65 people now.
So talk to me through some of the feedback that you've got. Like, has anyone actually used it? Like, how have they used it? In what capacity?
So I got feedback right away saying like, oh, I was wondering how to set up auth and I was worried I would get it wrong. And this is really useful. And I see the code in my repo itself instead of a lot of auth plugins that kind of hide everything from you. And then you can override their functions if you want to. Um, I
That's
got
nice
another
feedback.
email from someone that said, you're awesome. I love this. And no other comments. And I got another email
That's a
from
good one.
someone that said, hey, I work at GitLab, or he didn't say they worked at GitLab. It said, if there's any sort of help you want related to GitLab to set this up, please let me know. Um, I guess that was their second email. They emailed me first asking if I was going to use the new
Oh,
um,
so GitLab
GitHub.
is a competitor to GitHub.
Yeah. So GitHub has kind of been mirroring GitLab's improvements. They've been lagging by about a year,
Yeah.
but GitLab open, like they made free repos, free private repos, About a year later, GitHub copied it. Then GitLab made CI/CD built into the like their whole interface, so you can have like a project with a repo and actually also like a Trello board kind of thing connected to it, and CI/CD.
What's CIDC?
Continuous integration and continuous deployment.
Oh, okay. So that's so built in. So you because normally we have to set up our own Jenkins server and make all that happen.
Yeah, that's pain and more expensive. I'm using just the free version of it, and I added a GitLab-ci.yaml file to the base of my project. And every time I push my project, or every time I push any code to my repo, all the tests will run. If I pushed or merged to master and all the tests pass, it will automatically deploy it. And I had to configure how that works, of course, in the YAML file. But it's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. And of course, you have to have tests for a project like yours. Tests I'm definitely not using for any of my stuff, but that's just because no one's relying on it. I'm
being pragmatic about it. I'm not like a testing zealot, but the further along it gets, the more I'll need. The one feature that GitHub has recently caught up to GitLab with, or at least gotten close to, is some of their team functionality for free users.
Yeah.
And this Alchemist Camp user emailed me about it, asking if I was going to use it. And I said, well, I've already got all the code on GitLab. I'm going to use that. And just immediately got this response back that was like, if you need any help whatsoever with GitLab, or you need to talk to them, just let me know.
Huh,
and
cool.
That was like, that just shocked me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, Bitbuckets had the free team thing for like 5 years.
The thing I wanted,
private repos.
So basically, the thing that I want for this project that I need to have set up before I can get or before I want to sell it, and which I have gotten set up, is people can auth through GitLab, and then they'll automatically be added to a project that I have on GitLab, so they have read access to all the repos.
Got it. Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
As soon as they pay me, I'll authorize them through that.
See, yeah.
Instead of just
so it hooks into a payment journey. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to just like make them download new zip files of the code all the time.
Yeah, it's
better if they can just set my master or my branch as a remote and pull it in and merge whatever they want that I've added.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
what about your the immigration stuff?
Oh yeah. So I also made progress on that. I've gotten the entrepreneur visa. So the last step left is to get a resident card. I took the entrepreneur visa to a different government office and submitted everything. It should be fine. I should, like, by May 1st, I should have residency and health insurance.
It's like it's funny. You're so close to having it solved that it doesn't feel like a pain point. It's like when you're not ill, you don't really notice that you're not ill. But when you're ill, it's like everything's about that. So, the previous two calls, like, you were just like, oh yeah, that was such a major thing. But this call, it was like, you've just got it sorted. You're there, so that's cool.
Well, it would really suck to have to leave, like, go to the US now,
Yep.
If there are any direct flights anymore. I'm not even sure how I would chart it.
Are you talking about coronavirus, or are you just talking about?
Yeah.
Did you see the couple of studies that are beginning to come out about the prevalence of antibodies in the population? So
I've been keeping up with that a little bit.
So basically, if those studies are right, and that actually 1.5 to 4% of the population do already have it, it actually puts the death rate in line with the flu. It's not like 10 times more worse than the flu. And then that's going to be quite interesting to see what happens if that's the case.
Yeah, but the seasonal flu hasn't been like overwhelming national health systems.
Yeah, but neither has coronavirus.
Well, it has in Italy. It hasn't. I mean, it has in a lot of places.
I don't know if Oh, well, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Maybe
Like they're
I should.
running out of like PPEs or ventilators at least.
Well,
So
I don't know about. I don't know. I hear conflicting stuff about that.
yeah,
But I mean, I don't know.
I'm not. I mean, like here that it would actually take some work to catch it, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go to some crazy huge parties or anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super interesting because if it's true and that there already are like a couple of 100,000 people in Los Angeles who have it, then it's just very, very interesting.
Well, I bet a lot of younger people, especially, just had like very, very minor symptoms and didn't even realize it, or they got a little bit sick. But it's really hard to tell.
Also, there's a lot of talk about that it came over earlier than we thought. That it was here in maybe potentially November and December in America.
US?
Yeah, in the US. Yeah.
I'm skeptical about that,
But what's interesting about that is that our whole family got ill in December, with all of these symptoms, and went to the doctors, and there was nothing. They couldn't find anything. There was nothing, and we all had it for like a couple of days, and then we were fine. So it's like it wasn't flu, it wasn't strep, it wasn't any of the usual suspects. They didn't know what it was, and then we all. So I'm super interested to take the antibody test when that becomes available.
that'll be interesting when it comes out. One thing to be careful about, though, is just because you have antibodies doesn't mean you're better yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I think I have a little bit of concern. People just be like, I have antibodies, like everything's great. Now I'll go to a concert
Yeah, that's probably what would happen.
in Florida, at least.
But one thing that there's no denying is it's changing life. It's altering the shape of life. Like in both of my day jobs, Modern Teacher and True Space, those companies are they're gonna be different companies moving forward because they're just taking online more seriously. A lot of pretty much most of what they were doing was in the real world, but with this just completely impacting their business, they're now moving most of it online, certainly making it so that a large portion of revenue can come through the online method.
Yeah.
And
some of that
yeah.
could have happened anyway, like eventually.
No, it completely could have happened. I mean, in those two companies' cases, it's basically given them I guess a boot up the ass to like move to get to that direction first.
But yeah,
yeah, but that's kind of cool. I mean, I've been saying to them for years that's what they should do, but they were sort of in the comfort zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have an uncle who has had like a pretty unpleasant tech job. He's not in San Francisco or any like big tech hub. So it's like it's a big company that doesn't specialize in doing tech. And so they kind of see tech as a cost center that they just have to deal with. And he's paid well, but gets called in like really late, like after midnight sometimes, and they always deploy on Friday, and things always break, and just like all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
And last time I talked to him, he was like, it's really nice to not have to go in and just be able to do this from home. Like I should have been able to before.
Like, yeah, right. Should have been able to do it the whole time. Yeah. That's cool.
So, one quick related thing to this that you just reminded me of is there was an article I saw in Hacker News this week.
Yeah.
That was, or maybe it was on Indie Hackers. I don't remember where, but it was remote developers get paid 8% more on average.
Interesting.
And it was actually the gap was bigger than that, but they were trying to control for age, for experience, for what technologies they were using, for full-time, part-time, like all of those things. And I still kind of have the impression that they're not, that's not truly representative. Like it's probably the better or at least more assertive developers that have been able to work something out where they are remote.
That makes sense. Yeah, they're skewing the curve. Yeah. Because when I've hired remote developers, it's been the opposite. It's basically been I've been able to get people who are better than a lot of people in San Francisco at much lower prices, much lower, not ridiculously cheap, but just much lower than San Francisco rates, and that's been great. So you can build a team of like top quality tech devs, but who are distributed in places like Alabama and Georgia and stuff. But who
could have been you.
Could have been me. How do you mean?
Didn't you move to Georgia?
That's right. Yeah.
Before going back to California.
Yeah. So cool. So any health stuff?
I wasn't planning on it. It wasn't a goal, but I actually did make it out running twice and
cool.
2 more days exercising in the park. So other than a pretty erratic sleep schedule, I would say I've done pretty well.
Sweet.
Yes.
That is nice.
And how about your glucose update?
Yeah, so I did hit my goal, which was 70% in range nice. over the last 7 days. So if I go back over 14 days, it's 65% in range. So the week before was bad, but hopefully this time next week, if I can maintain that at 70% in range and then get better. One thing that I've done to help that is, so I'm already doing eating all the veggies. Mm-hmm. But we've got where I live in the mountains, there's steps. There's about 22 steps that come from the road down to our house. Wooden steps, like outside mountain type steps. So anyway, I'm sprinting up them 10. I'm doing
nice.
I'm doing like 10, like an HIT up, sprint up, sort of walk down, sprint up, walk down, like 10 times. So I'm doing that once a day. And I think that is having an impact.
The only high intensity interval training that I don't hate is running uphill.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just, I guess it's just like so efficient, so much work, but you're not pounding your joints really. And you're not,
exactly. It's strange. It's low impact. It's low impact, but it's really high. And I remember the one time that I was very fit and slim, back when I was like in my 30s, let's say, I think I was like 29 or 30 or something. I was cycling uphill for like half an hour every day on the way to work. And I think it's a similar kind of feeling. It's a similar, you just sort of push, you're just sort of standing up on the bike and like pushing slowly and just making it, just
and
getting up there.
Guaranteed that you do it 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So
this is not as much as that. I mean, so obviously this is just, I'm just doing it once. I might try and transition it to twice a day, but once a day I can definitely do it. And I know that there's been progress because the first couple of days I did it, I could only sprint up it like 2 times.
Yeah.
I'd have to walk the rest.
And you've probably still lost a bit of weight. And at least like with the diet, like compared to the day you first told me about it, then you showed me your older data was in range like 25% of the time.
Oh yeah, it's better.
So it's clearly like the bad week now is better than the typical a couple months ago.
Yeah, the jury's out on the weight loss, but I'm sort of back up to 227 at this point. 227, yeah. But I was down to I'm back up to 217. I was down to 213 at one point, which was like, whoa, that was really cool. That was like a few days ago. But then, I don't know, a bottle of wine last night, the crappy food that I ate, I don't know. You can shift like 4 or 5 pounds in a day. It's crazy.
You totally can. I think that's why everyone, not everyone, but lots of people that are like really trying to lose weight, they look at like a 10-day weighted average or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't even have a scale, so I'm not tracking that side.
So in business news, we'll do like screen sharing in a sec, but I'll just give an update for the audio section. So Taskflow, I have been working on. So it was unusable last time. Basically, the last time I showed you could there was a pop-up window to add tasks, but it was just HTML. It wasn't wired up. Well, now it's wired up. You can add stuff to the database. You can edit the task names. You can kind of use it for project management in a very rudimentary way. Although, to be honest, it's still not as good as a big ass text file. And I tried to use it to do project management, and then I found out, well, task management. I found out, no, it's too annoying. I'm gonna go back and use my big ass text file instead. So it's not there yet, but I'm getting close to, and I'll give you a demo of that. So that's cool. With Nugget, the batch, the latest batch is completely full and actually spilled over to a new batch. So there was one guy. Did I say this on the show last time, or did I just tell you?
You
personally?
explained that you cut off the batch sizes. I don't remember.
It's 15 a batch now.
Yeah.
So that's rolled over, and now a 16th person has come in, and they're now started a new batch. But did I explain how I sort of accidentally sold a founder on Nugget through sending him lessons?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, and it very much speaks to what we spoke about on the first few sessions, which was like the low resolution version of Nugget. And I think this is the answer. Accidentally, I found the answer. So I was speaking to this guy, and he's sort of he'd built a site in a way. It was kind of competing with Nugget in a way. It was Painland was the name of his site.
I've seen that on Indie Hackers.
Yeah, it's on Indie Hackers, it's on Product Hunt. And so, because he's just really grappling with trying to find out the right idea. And he's super successful already at building stuff in the real world. So he has like a consultancy that builds these sort of these technical installations. Mm-hmm. So like, like a wall that like moves, you walk past the wall and it like tracks you, and the little things spin and it rotates, and they do very well. They're very successful. But that doesn't exactly translate to building software on, online business on software. So he really wants to do that, and he's trying to find out, how do I find that idea? And so he just sent me an email saying, hey, I've just bumped into Nugget. I sort of like what you're doing. It's a bit similar to what I'm doing. Here's a whole bunch of ideas that I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? And so I was thinking, yeah, I could sort of do individual analysis of those ideas, but honestly, if I could just grab a few lessons from Nugget and give them to him, it'd be helpful, because then he'll just teach him how to fish. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, okay, what are the key lessons I can just grab out? And I went through and I picked like 7 lessons. I'm like, yeah, if he reads this, then that's going to make it much clearer, easier for him to evaluate those ideas. So I sent him that stuff, and he didn't get back. There was no sort of response. And then, like, I don't know, like a week later, he was like, this is cool. This really helps. In fact, I think I want to become a member of Nugget.
Nice.
And that was like quite interesting, because that's what we were talking about. Like, it's like a low resolution version, so it's sort of giving the key information without the high detail. So what I'm going to do is, it's made me realize that I'm going to build a bootcamp. Did we not say this last episode?
You did mention you did talk about the resolution and about making an initial bootcamp, which was a more
yes. So I'm going to
abbreviated intro.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that free. I'm going to post that to Product Hunt. I want to get great testimonials on the front page, and I sort of want that to be like the sort of stuff. I think I want it to be a great starting point for any new founder who's just getting started. Like, okay, this is the place that you should go and get the basic information about this. And so that's what I'm working on. I've started building it, and I think it's going to be good. I'm excited about it. In fact,
I think so too.
I have the madness about it, and that's why I got no sleep last night.
That's like what you do with blogs. Like, you put the very best stuff out front, and then people consume those and more of the rest.
But the good thing about this is it's better than the blog. I've done the blog thing, and some of the same content's on blogs, but this is it's giving you that full Nugget experience where it's just one sort of stage. You see the little rocket progress along the top, and you have the in-class kind of experience. So, and I think I'm sort of debating on whether people should sign up or whether they should be able to access it instantly. I think probably sign up, because it's one-click sign up anyway using social media, and then I do get
Yeah.
there. I do get a connection with them. It's so that's probably
I would definitely do that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on, and that's what I got to show you in our video portion of this, all that stuff.
Sounds good. I'll have a few ConvertKit results pages to show you too.
Nice.
Got some good conversions.
All right.
So you want to grab the screen?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I'll do share. Yeah, I'll share first. Sure. Okay. There's my Dexcom Clarity stuff. So this is my last 7 days, proving that I'm in a 70% range.
That is not bad.
Not bad. Okay, so I'll done with that. All right, so now let's have a look at Taskflow. So here, oops, let's log in there. So one thing that I wasn't expecting that I wanted, but I still do want it. I still do want a screen that sort of feels a lot like a big ass text file, the way that I organize a big ass text file, and that is what I realize I'm going to be calling the snapshot screen. So let's say I go in here and I click on that. So this is what I'm doing, so that I can go ahead and quickly see a snapshot of everything I'm doing.
So that's what your existing method looks like.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's not as good as this. Oh, actually, let's just take a step back. So remember how before I had next wins, on hold, and then tasks, and then done?
Yeah.
Well, I think as I've been actually working with it, I've realized that I don't like those categories for tasks. And I've realized it's much more about actually the way that I work in my big ass text file is literally sort of thinking about it like this. Like, what am I doing now? What am I going to do today? What am I doing soon? What am I going to do someday? So those are the way that I actually manage things. It's not by sort of projects or whatever. I do manage things by projects in a different way, but generally speaking, I just think of things about when I need to get them done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that there's like a real divide between people and which of those they do. Like a lot of people do everything by project, and a lot of other people do everything by when they're going to do it.
Well, as I've been using this, one thing that I found annoying is that there's no context. Like, it's all mushed together. So there's no projects. But I realize projects is not the right term. Context is the right term. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a little thing up by the Taskflow logo where you can set the context. So the context might be day job 1, like Modern Teacher, or the context might be TrueSpace, or the context might be Nugget, so that I can switch context, and then everything becomes filtered by the context of where I'm working. So
and
because
would everything belong to just one context or more than one?
Everything is within one.
Okay.
Well, I'm not entirely sure about that yet. I haven't got that, but context is different to labeling. So labeling, within a context, I could use labels to sort of bucket things into, I don't know, let's say, for example, Nugget, and then one thing is I'm doing like a marketing launch. I can label it as a marketing launch, and I can label a second thing as like new user onboarding. So you could sort of do sub projects in that way. But really, like, life context is the most important thing. Like, I want to be able to manage my health, so I want the context of health. But so I want to be able to basically say, okay, just show me everything. So that mushes it all together. I get all context, and then somehow I'll be able to see a little note, oh, this is about health, this is about that. And then I'll be able to go in here and I'll be able to manage different stuff.
This looks like real tasks.
Oh, this is real. Yeah, this is actually real. So so look, let me just show you what's actually working. So okay, so I've got today, soon, someday, and done. So all this done stuff is actually done. One thing I wasn't expecting, which I'm finding kind of interesting, is this view where I click just the text. I realize this is actually quite a powerful view, and I like it, and I want to be able to drag things around. And so I want to make each of these views useful for the context of what that view's for. But this is all stuff that I have, done. That's all real stuff. And so also everything, just like a big ass text file, everything is super easy to edit. So let's say I want to edit this. Hello, a new thing. So just
and if it were all together, would you be able to drag from done to someday or
that's exactly what I want to do here. I want to make it so that it's draggable, so you can quickly drag. So within the snapshot view, you'll be able to change context to health, and you'll be able to say, okay, look, move it around, and then you'll be able to just have the context of everything, and just so that it just makes it just like working with a text file, super easy. But then I'm going to make it so that you can click here and edit these things. So, here, new text, just, I could tab through to the next one and then get to the end of it, new, and then hit return. And then, so that's now updated. If I refresh, it's like, it has that data in there. And that there's no like lag clicking into the field. So it's sort of one thing that I hate about a lot of the project managers that I've used is like, just to edit text, you have to like click a little edit button. You have to, change the state of it. It's so annoying. Like, why can't you just like get directly into it? So here I've got the you can tab through that, and then we've got. So look, let's say I want to add a new task. So that was using the.
So is it going to be doing like optimistic updating then?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
optimistic updating. Yeah, it is. So and I think is that a term? Tell me about that.
So one thing that happens a lot is when you're running everything in local development, it's super fast. Then when you put it on a server, all of a sudden there is like a quarter of a second lag or something, and it gets way more annoying to use. So what some people do is they'll make their UI optimistic. So it assumes that updates work. And then if it turns out the server responds, no, that's an invalid change, then it will update after the fact. But you won't get that little lag on things that work. You'll just get that little lag once in a while when there's a problem.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing. Yeah, I didn't know that there was a term for that, but it's just making the UI 100% responsive, so it just feels like an app. So this is something nice. So hello, new task. So hit return, and then it's in. And then if I go here, now that added it to the done file because I haven't. What?
Why did it go to done?
Oh, because I haven't made this part work yet.
Okay.
Now, this does work, but I just don't want to be able to. I don't want to have to click my mouse to select it.
Right.
So what I want to be able to do is to go open it with a shortcut, right? Then say hello world, a new task, and then use keys to select these. So I can put this through into today, and if I click add, that puts it in.
I think the default should either be today or maybe someday, but definitely not done.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. So here, look, I can move this. If I move this to done, and something else that I really want to do is I really want to plug. Apart from making money from this, I want to have a lot of fun with this. So I want to actually plug gamification into this and leveling up to the point where it sort of shows you a big shield. Like if you do X number of points, you've leveled up, and it'll go like you get like a big sort of ray. And I expect I get that from this game on Roblox called Adventure Up.
Okay. Well, you've definitely helped me come up with a mental model for next week.
Okay. Let me see this. This game, I play this with my kid, my 5-year-old kid, and it's so much fun. And the when you level up, they do it so well. They put this big shield on the screen, and it's like a ray of sunshine around the shield, and it's this big
feedback.
It's just a big thudding echo noise.
Yeah.
So I want stuff like that in it, just because it's fun, Cool. And also another thing I want to do is when you add a task, I think I want either the option or by default for it to sort of say something like, yeah, woohoo, like audio, like just sort of get feedback,
I think Oh, audio feedback.
Like so it literally goes, yeah, way to go. Like something like that.
As long as people can disable it, I don't see a downside.
Yeah, people will be able to disable it for sure. And I think people, I was thinking about it. What would be cool is if you could have, you could choose a persona, because obviously, I don't know, some people might be interested in sounds that are more cute, and some people are interested in sounds that are more manly and masculine. And so, depending on your persona, it could just be different types of audio, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, let the user put their own audio in.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a good demo, and I'm aware of that. Because I'm not. It's so early in the game, but it's something.
Well, it's a data point. We'll see what it looks like next time.
Yeah.
So. This is definitely way more than you had before. So
right. So one thing. Okay, so just moving on to Nugget. This is the bootcamp. So it's just going to be like Nugget bootcamp / welcome, and then they get down to that. So you see it's like the full lessons here. And the little thingy moves. And then when they can do the same thing as they do in the academy, where they can sort of go directly to a lesson. And when they get to the last one, there'll just be a thank you page. And this will say, okay, you've done the boot camp. You've seen what's on offer here. Hoping you will either, use some of our free ideas, or hoping you will sign up to the academy. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Like, this is the thing we've been talking about for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
And people have already bought it. So I would say well done. Thanks.
All right, that's me.
All right. I had one quick question on something you mentioned before. Do you think Product Hunt would make sense for the thing that I'm working on?
Beta List and Product Hunt, and I think that they're like one after the other. So Beta List is like the first one, where a product like yours could go, and then Product Hunt and Indie Hackers. The problem is that it's quite niche.
That's the thing I was thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's gotten a good reception so far. Like, people are joining the email list.
But it's got a great reception within its correct market, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So of the people that joined the email list, darn it, I just showed the email. So of the people that have joined its email list, the vast majority have been on Alchemist Camp's email list, but none of them were already paying members. Because I told paying members, don't get on that email list. I'll just give it to you. Mm-hmm. The reception has been good. Like, the open rate for the overall message I sent out to people telling about it was like 43%. The one I sent to members saying, hey, get it now, was 78%, almost 25% click-through rate. And I got 3 emails from people out of it. So the reception has been good, but my thought is on Product Hunt, if only say 1 person out of 100 cares about Elixir, and maybe 2 or 3 others are curious about Elixir, then it may just not have a hope on a broader platform like that.
I still think your best marketing strategy, as your friend and possibly someone who might have some good advice, I think your best marketing strategy is to be a market builder.
Be a market builder. You said that a few times. What do you mean by that?
I mean, you could get people super excited about Phoenix. Through your blogging, through your content, through interviewing people about the big changes that they've made with this thing. And you could lead the charge. You could literally be the market builder of Phoenix and just lead the charge and just so you just create the market. You create the market because you get people passionate and excited about it, and then they use your product because you are the person who's actually building the market.
So I'd have to be hanging out in watering holes for like just other developers, like hang out where there are lots of JavaScript developers or hang out where there are lots of PHP developers?
No. What you'd have to do is you'd find the best success stories of people who've used Phoenix, and maybe they've already written their own blogs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you would create a blog and a podcast that was dedicated to promoting Phoenix. And what's the other thing what's Phoenix based on again? The other thing that you teach? Elixir. Yeah.
Elixir is the programming language.
Yeah, Elixir. So basically, you would create, like the Elixir or the Phoenix. It could be Phoenix because Phoenix seems like a really good thing. You could create like the Phoenix podcast, and then you could reach out to people who'd had a lot of success with Phoenix, and then you could interview them, and you could build a market by getting other developers super excited about it by the stuff that you put out there. And it just gets on the front page of Hacker News because it's just so great. You do great blog content about it. You do great podcast content about
Hacker News, it's really, really, really hard to get a podcast on Hacker News, as you may have
blog posts
experience, but blog posts, yeah. That's interesting because I have actually been doing some podcast interviews on Alchemist Camp, like the one that you saw before.
Mm-hmm. I think blog posts. Let's just say blog posts, but just highlight in all sorts of different ways why it is amazing and how it can help a business and how it can help a dev team, and basically just be the spearhead of promoting it. And so
it would be spending more time kind of selling the whole ecosystem itself.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Along with the teaching. That's interesting.
Sort of like I know that DHH created it as well. Yeah. So, but still, you could be like the sort of figurehead DHH of it if you wanted. If you wanted to do that. So that's sort of the model I'm thinking about. You build the market, and because look, you're not going to feel like an imposter because it's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's amazing. So you're going to feel great about promoting it, and it doesn't even matter if people buy stuff off you or not. But because you do have a way of monetizing it, it's just a great marketing strategy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's a long-term strategy, though. It's not something I can do over the next week or month.
Well, it's definitely something you can do over the next month.
Grow the whole ecosystem.
You can begin with a single step, which might be one amazing blog post about it. What you do is you come up with 20 catchy viral blog post titles, concepts, and you write. Each one you aim for that one to get as much viral spread as possible, and you just keep putting them out there. Just amazing blog posts, one at a time, and so each one. They all together culminate and create this larger body of work. But for sure, you only need one at a time, and each one can be a hit or a miss, obviously.
But if you put them on a new site,
yeah. So you create that new site, and that site is about market building, for want of a better word. And you just try and make each of them as great as possible. But your only task right now is to just do one great one. And obviously, you're only going to have one hit out of every 10, Yeah,
probably.
But the hit's going to be so big that it's going to change the shape of everything for you.
And for that kind of site, would you have either Elixir or Phoenix or both in the name of it, or would it be named something targeted at developers? It'd be in the name. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think. I mean, if that's really that's what you do, right?
So is there a reason I wouldn't put those blog posts on this site /blog?
Yeah, I think that would be great. I think that would be
okay.
Really good.
Yeah, because if I'm going to build up a site, it might as well be this one.
No, and this is a great brand, Phoenix Igniter, and I think that would be great. But just take that viewpoint of rather than trying to sell Phoenix Igniter, take the viewpoint of selling Elixir and Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah, I can see how like that would have a much better ROI than spending time on Product Hunt would for me.
Yeah.
So, so like with what I've gotten done on this, I've got a version running in localhost, and this Phoenix Igniter is using itself. So like I am pulling in the stuff that I've made for my customers to use onto Phoenix Igniter, but the app itself is just called app. So I have this big app here, and it's, the folders here are like app and app web. So it's like very, very, very boring names, but that's because I want it to be general so that, other people are building their app. It's just going to be called app, and it's also short. Running in localhost here, you can see that it apparently is not running.
Yeah, dog fooding your own product is very good.
Oh, that's actually, it was running. I'm just on the wrong. I was on Igniter instead of on app. So app is the thing that everything pulls from.
You know that what the origin of dog fooding means?
No.
So essentially, so you are dog fooding your own product right now.
Yeah, but where did that come from?
It comes from Dog Food Factory. Dog Food Factory, the story of I think an owner of a dog food factory, who said, "Look, we want to have the best dog food, so we're gonna taste our dog food. We're gonna make sure that it's delicious."
Okay, that's not so bad. I thought it actually had dog in it.
No.
Okay, so this is what my customers see when they pull it in. And this includes like an old school, or not old school, but just an email based login like this, and it's got log out, so you can see I'm logged in as me up here. I can look at my own user info. I'm not an admin though, so I can't look at everyone's user info, and it doesn't even show that it exists. I can log out. And once
Does that use Tailwind?
It is in the process of getting built to use Tailwind.
Okay.
So now when I try to go to the same page, I don't have access because I'm not logged in, so I can't see my own page. So it's got all of that. It's got auth through GitLab as well. So I can do auth GitLab. It's got stuff built in. Oh, but I don't have the credentials in this version. I have the credentials for that in my app. So people will just have to go into the app and drop their Google credentials or their GitHub credentials or Facebook or whatever, and then they can log in through that process. So it's got that built in. It's got a number of things that you almost always want in an app, but are kind of a chore to code yourself. So next up, I'm going to make some UI components.
We're sort of in the same place. The Taskflow stuff and this feels like it's in a similar kind of development cycle phase. It's like it's beginning to. Well, no, obviously yours is way ahead of where I'm at because you've actually got it's understandable.
It's the opposite. Well, it's the opposite part though. It's just the back end.
Yeah.
I'm just about to start some front end things, so people can just see, oh, this stuff all exists. Let me check this out. But
at least you're saying a quick start for your app, Phoenix framework with a few things included. What's set up? So you've got some context, some onboarding, and it makes sense. It's great. I mean, I like it, but the similarity is, I think we're both not quite used to it enough.
Yeah. Well,
to explain it.
It's definitely super early, and anyone that's paying now or that pays in this coming week, which I do suspect it'll have at least 5 sales. I'm thinking probably more like 10.
And what is the price point?
The price point is going to be 180, but I'm discounting it to 45 during the alpha launch, and then while it's in beta, it'll be 90. Then it'll go up to 180 once it's like fully launched.
Great, yeah,
so,
love it.
I think that may get some revenue. So that's basically what I've got for my progress. Go to your mental model.
Yeah.
All right, let me unshare the screen.
Wait, what's my mental model?
Well, you sent it to me. Don't you want to introduce a mental model?
Yeah, sure. Which one did I send?
Gresham. What was it? It was.
Oh, I sent that to you because I thought it was interesting, not because I thought we were going to share it on the show. But
Gresham's Law, right? Well, I remember it, so
okay, go on then.
I'll spit it out.
Yeah.
So Gresham's Law was initially about debasing of coins. Gresham was alive in the 1500s, and basically what it said is, if you've got a bunch of coins if you've got multiple types of coins that are both official currency, but some of them have less valuable metal in them than the others. Say you've got some actually silver coins, and then you have some silver-coated copper coins, then the silver-coated copper coins will drive the full silver coins out of the market because they're worth more. Anytime you get one of the more valuable coins, you'll just keep that to yourself, and you'll spend the coin with inferior metal that is legally worth the same amount.
And so basically the law is bad drives out good.
Yes. And I think the key meta thing about mental models in general is that it's an idea from one domain that's useful in other domains.
Yeah.
So like this isn't just useful when you're thinking about, well, like I hear they're going to get rid of the pennies that have a little bit of copper in them, and they'll be pure zinc instead of just zinc coated copper soon. I better hoard the ones with some copper. They're also useful in fact, that one's not even that useful in its direct context, but it's also useful in say like used cars, like the lemons on the market end up driving out all the good cars, because anyone who's got a good used car won't be able to get market price trying to sell it.
Well, Hack and Use also, in the discussion that they had on Hack and Use, was interesting because they were talking about how bad drives out good in the context of a company as well, like the hiring spiral, like how when you get sort of bad people who come into the company who are just sort of not doing the same level of work, who are like, gaming the system, like then the good people will be like, I don't really want to work here anymore because now we've got these dicks who've moved in. So they all leave and then more bad people come in. So basically bad drives out good is the rule.
Yeah. I didn't see that I didn't see the Hacker News discussion, but Steve Jobs used to talk about that. He called them bozos. Like once you get too many bozos, then everyone who's not a bozo leaves or something like that.
Yeah.
So I had actually thought of this when you sent it to me. My first thought outside of its direct context was rental property or classifieds in general. Like say you're trying to hire an engineer and that engineer is amazing. Well, they probably aren't even on the market. They're probably like already being paid and treated very well by their first employer. And if they're horrible, maybe they've like been on that classified site, gotten a job, gotten fired from it 4 times this year. So they're just always there. So the site is going to be flooded with whatever it is you don't want, whether if it's apartments or employees or coins.
Well, that's certainly true of toilet roll during coronavirus. So like when we've got toilet roll now, but it was super hard to get good toilet roll. Like the only toilet roll I was able to get was just weird stuff that was shipped from China or whatever. And it was so much of that weird stuff available and very little of the good stuff available. So
there you go.
There you
bad
go.
drives out good. I think that's a really useful mental model. Like that one is widely applicable.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, how about goals?
My goal is to actually start selling my startup project, my starter kit. So Phoenix Igniter will go from 0 to 1 sales, although hopefully more like 0 to 5 or 10.
That's a good one. That's a good goal. I guess I don't know whether my goal should be about releasing the Nugget bootcamp or should be about making more progress on Taskflow. I think it should probably be about the boot camp because that raises the needle for me much more. But I might do a couple of tweaks on Taskflow. Just to, you know what? Okay, so Taskflow on the screen with the snapshot screen. I want to be able to actually edit data on that and then reorder. No, not reorder. That's too complicated. Just edit data on that screen. So just one small thing for Taskflow, and then release the Nugget Bootcamp where it actually has a homepage with testimonials, and just at least get that ready. I don't know about releasing it, but get it ready to be released. One big thing that I want to do is contact a lot of entrepreneurs who are successful and say, look, here is the bootcamp. What do you think? Can I put you on the front pages saying I recommend you do this? So I think that will help drive it.
Might be good to have some space between those two questions.
How do you mean?
Like, here's the boot camp. Do you have any advice? Do you like it now?
Yeah.
Can I say that you said that? Instead of, here's the boot camp. Can I put your face on it?
Oh yeah. Of course. Yeah. No, that and I want that. Like I literally want. The problem is it's 10 lessons might be a lot of content to review, but I really would love people to look at it and tell me, yes, this is good or this is bad. I mean, I already did do that the first time around, but I'd like to do it with more entrepreneurs, more successful entrepreneurs.
That's a good idea, and I think a lot of people like that enjoy giving their advice too.
Yeah. So that's me. Cool. And then just with the blood sugars, just keep it to the 70% for another week.
That's sounds like a good plan. I guess I'm gonna add one more into mine. I want to get one video published in Alchemist Camp also. So
nice.
Just two goals, one big one little one.
Okay.
All right. Well, see you next week.
Ciao.